We're really happy that you are here, especially those prior residents and descendants of the Delta. Upon reflecting on our own ancestors in Locke, it dawned on me that women occupied a very special place in our history here. Remember, Locke is a national historic landmark, the only rural Chinese town remaining in the United States. And these women played a major role in our culture, customs, and the life of the community. And it's not just Locke. It was the same in the Chinatowns of Ileton, Cortland, Walnut Grove, essentially the Delta. Whether we're men or women, understanding these women in our lives is understanding ourselves. We honor them as having the fortitude to create a cradle for the men and children of the Delta, all the while tending the gardens for sustenance, working on the farms, packing sheds, and canneries. Their lives gave us the insight to be who we are today. And the film documentary Voices, Chinese Women of the Delta, will be in remembrance of these pioneering women. Thank you.
Introduce me, please.
Okay. Honey Lam, Carol, come here.
It's a great day. It's a fall day. If you're driving along the river road, you're going to see the changing colors of the grape leaves, and it's just such a beautiful drive along the river road. The town of Locke is situated about 30 miles south of Sacramento along the Sacramento Delta Road. It's a beautiful community, and it's a town that's founded by the Chinese in 1915. One of the few remaining Chinese communities that's still remaining. We operate the Locke Foundation, the Locke Boarding House Museum. So those who haven't not been there before, we have brochures on the marketing table. We have newsletters. We have Currents newsletters from Patty Fong. But we welcome you to this fundraiser luncheon with us. It's been 4 years. We haven't had a fundraiser because of COVID. Even today, I have some friends who called in and said they can't come because they do have symptoms of COVID, so it's still around us. We should be grateful for our good health, and we're so happy that all of you are here today with us. Many of you travel from the Bay Area, so we're so happy, and Douglas Shaw will introduce the Chinese American Heritage Network folks, and so we welcome you. Here is Carol Lee, who is part of the Oral History Committee.
I'd like to welcome all of you on behalf of Locke PRDA. And you're saying, what is that? Some of you may know it stands for Locke Prior Residents and Descendants Association. It is a new association, a nonprofit, and we, along with the Locke Oral History Project, are hosting in collaboration this special event. So I'd like to also clarify that we are not associated with Locke Foundation, and we are also not part of the Oral History Project, although that is my passion, so I'm sure I will be in and amongst all that because I already am. What can I say, right? So the Locke Prior Residents and Descendants Association basically focuses on the prior residents and descendants and interests related to that. We are also trying to gather information so we can teach others and everyone can learn more about the Chinese legacy of the Delta. So in support, I appreciate all of you being here, and this is a major, we didn't know we would have this many people, but on behalf, again, of the Locke Prior Residents and Descendants Association and the Oral History Project, thank you for coming, and enjoy. We've got lots of things.
Before we start lunch, just some housekeeping. We have a fairly long program. So the program starts from 1:30 until about 3:30. So any of you feel that you're tired sitting, feel free to get up, walk in the back, and sit at the chairs in the back and take a look at Patty Fong's artwork that's on display. Those are all for sale. Patty Fong is the editor of Currents newsletter. She has a newsletter that's on the marketing table to the left side of the room. Currents newsletter has been around for over 34 years, and this newspaper is in Yolo County and its greater Northern California area. It advocates for API issues, and so Patty is very passionate to share stories about issues affecting the Asian Pacific Islander community, and we thank her. This edition of Currents newsletter, we have centerfold. Locke Foundation has a big story. What is Locke Foundation? What is Locke Management Corporation? So before you leave, take a copy of the newsletter. We do have donation envelopes if you passionately feel that, yes, I want to support this Women Voices. Share it with your friends. Take a donation envelope, tax deduction before year end. You could do that. In addition, feel free to walk about In the back side of the room, exiting to the left door, are the restrooms. And so feel free to walk in and out. Our program is, we also welcome the Capital Chinese Orchestra. They are so generous and kind to be part of our program today. When we mentioned that, they did not hesitate to provide a Chinese cultural experience to our diners today. So welcome also Capital Chinese Orchestra. They've always supported Locke Foundation at the Spring Festival, at our Lunar New Year's, and also they play at the California State Fair. They've been in existence since 2010. So with that in mind, I'm going to invite the restaurant staff to serve. Chui Feng Hei Choi. Thank you, everyone. Jem Chong. Would you please come up and run our program? Thank you.
Okay, is everyone having a good time here tonight? All right, we're almost, I know we're all waiting for food. Is everyone having a good time here tonight? All right, really good. A couple quick announcements. We said the tickets on table.
We have raffle tickets on the table, so pull your half off and just kind of set it in the middle. There will be somebody to come by and collect the other half. And good luck.
Good luck. Well, I'll tell you, today is a really good day here. Honey, I think you want to share something?
There's also another housekeeping. In addition to the raffle tickets, this very special raffle ticket, we also have a drawing for a new membership application for a Locke Foundation membership. So we hope that you join, even lifetime member. You get free newsletters, you get to support the town of Locke and help also Locke Foundation. But we do have our marketing table, so I hope that you support it. So the raffle ticket, the two drawing prizes, very important. The history in the town of Locke through the eyes of Bitter Millen. This is a book written by Jeff Gellenkirk and also James Motlow. Unfortunately, both of them have passed away. They're dear to our hearts. They are the ones that capture the stories and the pictures of the life of families and individuals, mostly single men, who were part of the Delta community. So I hope that you would support us.
Okay, and then, this has been an incredible time here for the Locke Foundation. I want to direct your attention to that sign. It says the legacy lives on. That's what today is all about, really creating a legacy. And first off, I wanted to just congratulate all of you, but definitely people that are part of the Locke Foundation. Let's give them all a big round of applause here. And today is a very special day, and there's a production of Voices Chinese Women in the Delta. This is a documentary film that will be happening. But we want to thank definitely the film director, and that is Min Zhou, as well as acknowledge the co-producers and stuff as well. Of course, we have Locke PRDA, also the Locke Foundation, and of course, Clarence Chu, and we have Corliss Lee and Douglas Hsia. Let's go ahead and give them a round of applause as well, just for their co-production. And at this time, we'd like to call a few key individuals just to say a few minutes just about their comments here on what's happening with this production. But first off, let's have to the stage Honey Lum, and then also if we can have Carol Lee, come up as well. She'll speak on behalf of Locke and PRDA, and also Douglas Hsia. Douglas, why don't you come up here as well? Douglas, let's go ahead and have Douglas come up, and Carol Lee. So this is I want to just set the tone here. I hope you don't view this as just any ordinary event. This is literally history in the making. I mean, hopefully you guys got this. That Locke is the last remaining Chinese rural town in the United States. And I think that's something to be really proud of, and also to really be grateful for, that we have it right here amidst just a general area here. But with that, I'd like to invite to the mic, this is Honey Lum.
Thank you once again. I am speaking on behalf of the Locke Foundation and also Mr. Clarence Chu. Clarence is Mr. Locke. He's owned the town, part of the community, for over 30 years, since the 1970s. His family has graciously supported the town of Locke. He has 3 museums, the Dai Loi, the Zhousung, and the Jang Schoolhouse, in addition to our Locke Foundation's boarding house museum. On behalf of Locke Foundation, Clarence Chu, thank you for your support, being a co-producer. Your names will be part of the film credits with the Voices Chinese Women of the Delta. Thank you.
All right. And now next up, we have a very special person. This is Carol Lee. She's going to speak on behalf of Locke, and that's PRDA. That stands for Prior Residents and Descendants Association of Locke. Here we are. Let's give it up for Carol Lee.
Hi, I just wanted to say thank you all for your support on behalf of Locke PRDA and the Oral History Project. I wear both hats, so it's kind of confusing for me, but the main thing is these interviews that we've done already, you'll get to sneak peek of some of them, as well as the trailer done by Min Zhou, and just a little intro from herself, because she won't be able to be here. But thank you again, and just a teaser. Thank you.
Let's give it up for Carol Lee. And now let's go ahead and have Douglas Shaw come up here as well, also one of the co-producers here.
Thank you, Jim. You are, as usual, you are wonderful. Well, yes. So I'm Douglas Shaw, and I talk to my partner, Corliss, all the time. Although I'm just a lowly videographer at the Oral History program, but I always witness the amount of work they put in. I mean, the number of meetings and the studio production, and I know it because it is held at my place. Anyway, I am, let me see. Given the important position of Locke, being the National Historical Landmark, I think it's so important for us to tell the stories of our residents, our former residents, and the history of the town to the American public. It's our responsibility, and so that's why our oral history program is so significant, and I'm so honored to be one of the co-producers. It's truly my honor to have that position. Thank you.
Awesome. That's Douglas Shaw. And you had three people representing different aspects of the film, and so something like this don't take lightly. Film really documents history. Once it's on film, it's on film. It doesn't fade or anything, especially with the digital medium here. But let's give all the people that just shared a little bit a big round of applause, everybody. And I want to make sure we keep focused. This is a very historic event tonight. That's the way I view it. Again, the theme of the legacy lives on. That's what this is all about, creating legacy. We actually have the Golden Harvest Festival with Wei Zhang and Daniel here. That just happened as well. That's history about the Asian community, but also multicultural, but also, just a lot of the organizations that are represented here. And so I'd like to invite back to the stage here Honey Lum, and she's going to introduce our next speaker here again. You've already heard him actually, just to share a few more quick thoughts here. So let's give the mic back to Honey Lum. Let's give her a round of applause here.
July 2021, the Locke Foundation convened a meeting with different Chinese historical societies and historical sites. Out of that, they formed an organization or a network called the Chinese American Heritage Network. If you go to the Locke Foundation website, you will see a map consisting of 15 locations, including Angel Island. These are historical sites where we wanted to showcase and share with the public where are other Chinese historical sites. And the person who convened the meeting, I introduced Douglas Shaw. He will introduce the other organizations that are present today.
Thank you, Honey. Well, yes, like Honey said, in 2020, we connected 15 Chinese historical locations together, forming a consortium so that we can share information and connect to each other. And today, we are so proud to have 6 of them being present at this event. So I think I will introduce number one, Grand Dai Temple of Mendocino, Jeff Can Lee. Yes, okay, thank you for coming. And then Chinese Historical Society of America, Palmer Yu. Palmer Yu, thank you for driving all the way from San Francisco. And this organization, they come even from farther away. The Chinese Historical and Cultural Project of San Jose, Jerry Wong. Yes, thank you for driving all the way. And I know you have another meeting that you have to attend later. And then we have Auburn Joss House, Elizabeth Wong. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, thank you for coming. And Locke's closest neighbor, Ireton, Lin Haas, the Bing Gong Tong. Yeah. So of course, Locke being the hub of this consortium, and we are very, very proud to serve this position. And I think united, we will be stronger and better. Thank you.
Okay, great. Are you guys having a good time here tonight so far? I hope you take and absorb a lot of the information we're being given here. History is something that sometimes can repeat itself, but what's happening today is something that will be very unique for this period. So right now what I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce Louisa Yu. She's the president, to introduce her orchestra as well. So why don't you come to the stage here. They've been providing some great music here. Let's give her a round of applause.
Before we have Louisa on stage, I'd like to mention to you that we're collecting the raffle tickets. So if you have a red raffle ticket, you want to enter the drawing, please give it to the Janice. She's raising her hand to the left there. She'll collect all the tickets. Thank you.
Okay, and as we continue on, one thing I don't want to be remiss before we start introducing the thing. This brochure is beautiful. This was designed by Kathy Wei, so let's give her a round of applause. And it's just really beautiful. She does a lot of work for a lot of different communities. But okay, so Louisa, tell us a little bit about the orchestra here today.
My name is Louisa Yu, and I'm the president of Capital Chinese Orchestra. It's an honor to be here, to be a part of this meaningful event. Our orchestra was founded in 2010 as a non-profit organization by a group of enthusiastic music lovers. We currently have 15 members on the roster, ranging 24 to 80 years of age. And we're only part-time musicians. We have our own full-time profession. We got to make a living, right? And right now, I brought some flyers, and they're sitting in the on the marketing table. Now, please take some home, and if you would like to learn more about us, we have a website on it. Today, we have prepared a variety of style of songs for you, including pop song, American songs, folk songs, classical, etc., etc. So please enjoy your lunch as well as our music. Thank you.
Great, okay. So hopefully you guys are enjoying lunch here as well. Gene's always documenting all of our stuff here. So the photographer and videographer, let's give a round of applause to Gene here. So enjoy the music that will be played here just momentarily. So, and then have dinner, and we'll be coming back here in a little bit. So thank you, and thank you for supporting this very incredible event.
In addition to the beautiful brochure that Kathy Wei designed, the Chinese American Council of Sacramento also has a new recipe calendar, and this has special recipes reflecting the Chinese festivals. So if you like to have one of these calendars, it's a very special calendar to celebrate the Year of the Dragon. Please let the folks at the art table know, and they can help you out. The calendars are $20 each, but a very special calendar.
They could be worth $2,000 in the future, but for today, it's only $20. We put a decimal after two zeros. So enjoy lunch, some great music, and we'll be coming back here shortly.
Gene Beely, you're the greatest.
Okay, everyone, if you can go ahead and count down with me. It goes something like this. Starts with 10. Everyone, count down with me. We're going to give a big cheer for the restaurant and the great food that we had and continue on with today. So everyone, count down with me. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. This has been an incredible time. Did you guys like the food? Food's good? Yeah. So let's go ahead and give a round of applause for Lucky Jade restaurant here. Let's give them a round of applause. So there are just so many things, great things that are happening. I want to let you know that the orchestra that you heard, they're founded in 2010. There's about 20 members, and the age ranges from 21 to actually 89, guys. And, basically they're educators, accountants, engineers, students, physical therapists, housewives, and retirees. So over there, we have the performers on the orchestra. Let's give them a much-deserved round of applause. They've really taken care of us here today. And then also, we just wanted to let you know, they perform at the Locke Asian Pacific Spring Festival and Lunar New Year's events. And they also perform at the California State Fair and enjoy educating the public about Chinese culture. So very significant in everything that they do. And then also, I think, the Locke location, again, do you guys remember what it was known for? It is the last remaining Chinese rural town in the United States. That is not a small feat. So let's go ahead and give Locke, the town of Locke, and Locke Foundation a round of applause again. By the way, every time you applause, that's also good for you as well. You lose about a calorie, I think, every time you do that. Okay, so right now we have a very special time here. We have the chair of the Locke Foundation, and he's going to describe what the Locke Foundation is and its accomplishments. So everyone, if you could please welcome to the stage, this is the chair of the Locke Foundation. This is Stuart Wathall. Very good pronunciation there, Jim. Thanks. I got it.
Jim always has a little trouble with my last name. Again, I'm Stuart Walthall. I'm chairman of the Locke Foundation. God, it's great to see you all here. It's been so long since we had a nice get-together like this, and I thank you again. I want to tell you just a little about the Locke Foundation. Locke is the largest, most complete example of a rural agricultural Chinese American community in the United States. That's absolutely unique. And for those of you that haven't come to Locke, please come. It's beautiful and picturesque, and it's historic. And we welcome you. Some of the things the Locke Foundation does is we run the Locke Boarding House Museum. It's open weekend, Saturday and Sunday. In there we have a ton of resources, historic photographs, rotating displays. We currently have a display called Locke from its founding, which is 1915 to the war. We invite you to come and enjoy that. Locke also puts out a newsletter. That gives me an opportunity to invite you all to join the Locke Foundation, be one of the 200-plus Friends of Locke who support the Locke Foundation and what it does. We have a scholarship program where we give scholarships to high school seniors, local high school seniors. Let me read my notes here a little bit. We have the Locke Artifact Program, where we have gathered a vast collection of the artifacts from Locke, and more keep coming in. We are cataloging them, preserving them, and displaying them, and we will be rotating those precious artifacts through the museum. We also fund advertising for the town. We fund the Locke Memorial Park. We have the Locke Centennial Building Survey, where all of the buildings, the historic buildings in Locke, have been color photographed from all angles. The boarding house and the foundation have become a resource for not only the public, but scholastic institutions, authors, and the media. And over the 20 years of the Locke Foundation's existence, it's become a viable and influential organization. So we invite you to come to Locke, first and foremost. We also invite you to join the foundation. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge the Locke Foundation Board of Directors who are here. And I really would like to bring up a person who is, I consider, the most important person in the Locke Foundation, and that's Eileen Leung. Is she here? Eileen? She might be hiding. Eileen is not only our treasurer, but she's also the editor of our newsletter, and through her financial stewardship has really helped to make Locke financially viable. Let's bring up some of the other members of the Locke Foundation Board. Clarence Chu, Dustin Marr, Honey Lam, Mark Miller. Come on up here. Who else are we forgetting? Corliss Lee, Corliss Suen Yi, Carol Lee. Come on up here. I want you all to meet who helps put all this stuff together. Douglas Shaw. Come on, Douglas. Dustin, get up. The Locke Foundation not only does a lot of these little things that are done around the town, like the management of our parks, we also have placed a lot of historic signage and And we have a docent tour for Locke Historic Tours. And some of these folks up here are our docents too. Why don't we give these folks a big hand? And while they're here, I also want to acknowledge some of the folks that I hope are here. I haven't had a chance to see everybody, but our Locke boarding house volunteers. Are Lily and Dee Dee Kahn here? Sorry I didn't see you here today. These wonderful couple are docent-led tours that are really a great help. I want to thank Anita Lowe, too, and Mark Miller, who is our visual guy. I don't know where he is.
Behind you. Over here.
Oh. I don't know how you miss Mark. So let's give all these folks a big hand. Thank you very much.
Let's go spread out and take a group photo.
Get a group shot.
Spread out. Spread out. No. Spread out. Come together. Come together.
Okay, these are people doing the hard work. Let's give them a round of applause as they're up here. Put smiles on their faces. Okay, great. And now we have a special presentation, PowerPoint. I'm going to introduce Honey Lum that will be presenting a few comments right before.
Okay, throughout the year, the Locke Foundation engages in different activities, and so we have a PowerPoint on the screen now of the different activities Locke Foundation is involved with. We provide docent tours to school students, and including UC Davis medical class that is teaching race and equity. So between the board of directors and our volunteer docents, we give docent tours. We open up and our volunteers with our boarding house museum. We also engage with the community. We were a part of the pear fair at the end of July because we're surrounded by the pear orchards. Pear Festival in Cortland. So if you haven't been to the Pear Festival, please come and see the Pear Festival. This year, we were engaged with the Golden Harvest Parade and Festival, Wei Jang and also Daniel Chang. This is a festival that's in front of the state capitol this year, and it advocates for peace, harmony, and unity. We're all part of that celebration, and we had as a nonprofit outreach table to showcase and let people know what we do as a Locke Foundation. Included, we also sponsored the Lunar New Year. That's usually close to the Chinese New Year's. And also the Asian Pacific Spring Festival. So some of these pictures that you see here are part of those activities that we are engaged with. We are also part of the membership with the Sacramento area museums. So being the Locke Boarding House Museum, we do network with the different Sacramento area museums. So usually the second Saturday in March, there's free museum day. And also our museum is already automatically free, so you don't have to pay to get in.
Boarding house is always free.
Always free, so come by and visit. Saturday to Sunday, 11 to 3 o'clock. If I'm a docent, I stay there to 4 o'clock. We get visitors from out of town, and I don't want to leave people out.
And parking is free too.
Parking is free. Here's a flag of the Locke Foundation. So we thank these different folks who contributed pictures to make our video rewarding and educational to all of you. So thank you for being part of Locke Foundation's event. So at this time, we're going to formally introduce the Locke Foundation Oral History Project. What is this project all about? We're all here today because we're supporting it. And so for Corliss's passion, her cheer, her leadership, we're here. It started 4 years ago in 2019, a small group convening as part of our board, Locke Foundation board, and said, well, we have to start this oral history project. We have to capture stories of the seniors before they pass away. So our priority is to interview folks who are in their 90s, 80s, 70s, and unfortunately, with one of our honorees in our program booklet, he passed away September this year. Gay Hoi Lam was 96 years old, and he passed away, so he didn't actually get to join us for this celebration, but he's joined us in spirit because he is one of the contributors to making the success of the Oral History Project, and Carol would tell us more about that later on. So why Oral History Project? What have we done in the last 4 years? Well, we actually had to identify, well, who lived in the Delta area? Who should we interview? And why should we interview? Why should we try to capture their stories? So an honoree in front of me, Harry Sen, one of the honorees, I had the honor to interview Harry 3 years ago. Such a passion, such a story to talk about his childhood and what he did. He has a good recipe for making saltfish, ham yu. If you go to his backyard, he has this wonderful garden of vegetables and fruits. So the folks who lived in the Delta, they have the passion to grow food because in the early days, that was a necessity. So what do we do in oral history? We do pre-interviews. We edit these interviews. We re-interview because we want to capture what is important to oral history. Why should these folks tell their story? Why should Harry want to come in front of the camera and talk about his life to people who he doesn't know? But his family, I'm sure, is very happy for him. So, Harry, would your family please stand? They're here supporting Harry Sen. Okay, so with oral history, the process, we set up interviews, we do pre-interviews, then we do a formal interview, and then we edit the videotapes, and then after the videotapes, we're then ready to prepare the transcriptions of what's on the videotape. So we have over 28 interviews completed, and for the woman voices, another 13 folks will be interviewed, and Carol will share more about that. Thank you.
Okay, so in your program book, I was only given 400 words. And so for each one of these honorees, it's 400 words. It fits the page. It's perfect. It's all I could squeeze in about them. So I hope you take a look and read about them, because all I can do right here now is just a little glimpse of a few sentences. But the first person is Gailam. And I got a picture. This is it. This is it right here. This is in Locke. It was when he was 11 years old. He came over from China and was on Angel Island for about 3 weeks, and then he came to Locke. And so he was only in Locke for 1 year. This is a church group, and I want to thank Loretta King Au, who was the one who gave me this picture. The family doesn't even have this picture. So if you have any photographs, I'd say they are precious and you should keep them. If you don't know and want them identified, I'm not promising we can identify anything, but it'd be nice if we had them on record. So Yeah, here's Guy Lam, and this is him in his fatigues and all that. So I asked, I went over to his house several different times, and when I go, his wife would always have to call him out from, he was always in the garage, in the garden. So his wife would always have to call him in. He'd have to, he's got his shoes with that are all muddy, and then he'd leave them at the door. And his daughter, when I talked to her, had said, yeah, he really liked planting stuff and watching it grow. But the one thing that I would say, there's a lot of things. So he was a very humble man, a very gentle man, and he had a sense of humor. He knew the word lascivious, and he used it. So I'm laughing when I tell you this story. But the video that I put together is one that I hope will make you laugh as much as he would like you to laugh when you think of him. So here he is. I called him, and said, would you come? I called him in September. So he did pass away in September. And I called him in September and said, hey, we're going to honor you. And he goes, no. And so I said, please come. He goes, oh, I don't think I'll be coming. So he must have known something that we didn't know. So here he is. He's here. And enjoy this little video snippet.
When we were a kid, nobody in the whole house, yes. We go in there and push the snowmobile, and land. And the vendor would come out, and he didn't call us. But finally, one day he called us. We thought we smart. This time, push the snowmobile, put a toothpick in there, so steady and ready. The vendor come out, and we were about a block from there, and we saw us. They don't have to be us. We little kids. And instead of getting angry, hey boy, he was come. We're going there. I want everybody to do me a favor. Yes, sir. Take this and here's a nickel for you to help me go buy some ice cream. I'll appreciate it. Go there and get it for me. So we go there, 5 cents, and we're happy. Go and get the stuff, and she invited us to go inside. People ask me, sometimes ask me, I says, well, how do you know the whole house look like? I've been there. I tell the story. 11 years old, he invited me to the whole house. The ice cream is for us. They feed us ice cream, and they asked to buy him and buy the ice cream. Never mention about we put it open. So we don't do that anymore. We're very happy. So I can say, I'm the youngest guy actually go to the whole house. Yeah.
Okay, let's give a round of applause there. And now I'd like to invite Honey Lum just for some words here in acknowledgement. Here we go, Honey.
Suleen Choi Lam was my classmate, so I didn't know that I actually went to school with Suleen. Her father, significance of Gay Hui Lam is that he was the first Chinese to work in Sacramento Bee. He's an illustrator for Sacramento Bee, and years later, he was actually honored by the Asian American Journalists Association Sacramento chapter for his pioneering award, being a journalist in the media field. So he worked over 35 years in Sacramento Bee and was very passionate about his work, and he really enjoyed his family. So we do miss his family being here this evening for different reasons, but please remember Gay Hui Lam. His biography is in the program booklet, as all the other honorees. We provide information about them so that you can see the importance of the Oral History Project. Out of these interviews, we do have newsletters that we write, and some of these honorees are part of our Locke Foundation newsletter to tell their stories. In addition, when we meet with these folks who we interview, they're generous to donate artifacts to our museum. Gay Hui Lam donated his a basket that he had clothes in when he traveled age 11 from China to San Francisco. He donated his basket, he donated his this kerosene lamp to us. So they're on display at the Boarding House Museum, as well as other artifacts that the honorees donate. Later, Carol will present Ruth Jang, only Chinese woman who served in the U.S. Army. With Harry Sen, his family owned and operated the Fung Hap store, so he donated the tofu maker. It's in the Jang Museum. Thank you.
All right. So next up, we'd like to invite Carol Lee back with some final words regarding this section and also another special presentation. Here we go. Carol.
Thank you. Okay, so you may or may not know Ruth. Unfortunately, she's not here today. At one point, she was doing her activities and got COVID. She's over that. It's all good. But she thought it is a large crowd, thanks to all of you, so she decided not to come. She still is very active. She plays mahjong, and she's anyway, so many different things. There's nothing that I can say that this video won't say. It's from ABC Channel 10. She's been interviewed several times, and so I didn't mess with this one at all. And it's about 7 minutes, so here you go.
Pearl Harbor, December the 7th, 1941.
That was a Sunday. I was shopping on K Street. That's what I heard. People in the street was yelling. I was born in Walnut Grove, California. Wow. 1922. I'm over 100 years old. Oh, my childhood, when you live in Walnut Grove, you have to go to Oriental school. I couldn't speak English. It was hard for us. Oh, in high school, there's a racial discrimination. You cannot talk to a white person or dance with them. I didn't want to get married, but they had mass marriages in those days. I said, no, I'm going to find my own husband. So I decided to leave town and find a job in Sacramento. This girlfriend of mine, I remember her name, Leslie Ace, said, let's go join. I said, okay. That's how I joined the Army, 1943. I was 21. Only women volunteered. The men were mostly drafted.
To prepare the women who will serve with our regular Army, the Women's Army Corps recently opened a multi-million-dollar training center.
During World War II, many women participated in supporting the war effort. Nearly 6 million women took on factory jobs using drills and hammers and really trying to help build wartime industries. When the Women's Army Corps was formed, nearly 200,000 women joined the Women's Army Corps. In addition to the Army, all the other branches of the U.S. military also had a version of a women's unit. One of their mottos was, to free a man to fight.
They relieved men for combat duty.
There is a war. You just go. My neighbors, my cousins, they were all, in the service. I was the only Chinese there. I've never seen any Asian. I don't know why. Most of them are married. They marry after high school.
During World War II, nearly 12,000 to 15,000 Chinese American men served in the military. We actually don't know exactly how many Chinese American women served because there were very few women who were eligible, of a certain age, and who were physically fit to be able to serve. So some Asian Americans were in integrated units, in particular the Chinese American community, because their numbers were so small, they couldn't create a unit just for Chinese American women.
The first thing they do is send me to Des Moines, Iowa for basic training. We march all the time. I remember that we had to learn that reading and how to wear a gas mask. And I remember they gave me a surprise birthday party. They called it day room. I went down to day room. Happy birthday! I was so shocked. And then he sent me to Georgia. It's called Moody Field. That was a clerk. So I would drive all over the place and deliver those messages. Oh, we played basketball every Friday. I was captain of the basketball team. That was fun. The second year I moved to New York. They call it Mitchell Field on Long Island. I was put in a station hospital. I get to live in a nurse's quarter. I had my own room and gave me promotion to the corporal. And over there I worked for 2 nurses, and they want me to take the wounded soldiers that were recovering and take them to all these Broadway shows. We saw Radio City and Harvey, I remember that. There was an Italian girl, took me to her home, and the first time I tasted a pizza, it treated me very nice.
Newsmen rushed the president's report to a waiting world. And through the early evening, Tuesday, August 14th, the fateful news is flashed.
June 45, war was over. Everybody's so happy because we could all go home. I was 23. I got back in July.
Particularly women of color who had enlisted in the Women's Army Corps. Many of them, for the very first time, they didn't have a segregated American society to have to survive in. If you perform and you do well, you will be promoted. Women finally could participate. They could leave the home and join the U.S. military, support the war efforts, find social mobility.
I like it very much because I get to travel, I get to meet new friends. It's not like we were discriminated down in Walnut Grove. That's my summer uniform,
It's so important for us to recognize the contributions of Asian American women during World War II, in large part because Asian American women's history and voices are often not the center of the story. We have a nation that has always been diverse.
At the time when I first went, I lived in a barracks. We played together, we eat together. To me, that was nice. Oh, because they accepted me. I am one of them. I wasn't afraid to join because I just thought it would be an adventure.
See what I mean? I couldn't have said it better. The moderator especially, about women's voices. But the next person I want to talk about is Harry Sen. Yeah, really. Okay, my turn. So when I go over to his house, it's because, oh gosh, I've got another question. And certainly he's going to answer it or tell me something that will lead me to an answer. He even, on a personal note, he told me about my mother back in 1930s and 40s when she lived in Locke. And I would have never known what she was like then without his stories. You know all about his fishing and all about his, all those different things, whether it's the Hamyu and his garden, and a prolific garden. But the other part of it is he has stories about women. So it's not just women about women, it's about men telling stories about women. And he tells stories about his mother and how it was him that it was her that influenced him to do the gardening that he does the fishing that he does, and the cooking, all that cooking, oh my gosh. And they have a new kitchen now, so boy, that'll be fun. So I just want to emphasize that all of us have stories. They may be way down deep, and there may be only one photograph, like in Gai Lum's case. But if you have anything, I have my business card. Please come and approach me, and we can talk. So thank you for that. And so the snippet that I've done for, okay, I'm not very good at it. You saw the one from the ABC Channel 10. That's professional. But mine are just hokey. So I took the interview that we did and I spliced it all together. And this was, I think, my first one that I did was Harry Sen. So excuse that it maybe isn't as professional without the music. I'm going to get there one of these days. I'm going to learn all this stuff. Gene Bealey has helped me some. Mark Miller, who is the one that I would attribute this presentation to, he's helped me, so I want to acknowledge everybody for all they've done. So, okay, thank you, Mark. He's got the clicker, the controls.
My mom and dad were from the Guangdong area, and my mother was villages Yu, and my father's is Sayachin, and there are Jangs in the Sayachin, and the Chuns in the Yu village. This delta was built by Chinese. This was all inundated.
87-year-old Harry Sen grew up here and knows the history.
My father is Jiang Yiguang. He was a farmer. He's a kind of an easygoing guy. And my mother was probably the head person in the family. She ran the show. I think mom and dad always talk about what they had to do together rather than one person. My mother always said that she wished she was educated. In the old days, the boys were educated. Mom said that he had to walk my two uncles to the classroom, and she sat outside and wait for them to get out of school and walk the two brothers home. So Mom never got an education. She wished she did. I have never met my grandparents. My grandparents came to the United States and helped build the town of Locke. They both have a grocery store there, and they went back to China. And I think my grandfather died in China. Fun Ha, it's a grocery store that we had roast pig, we roast a pig in the town of Locke, and we're famous for our tofu in the whole Sacramento Valley. And they make the best tofu. It's not like they make tofu today. My big uncle, or two uncles, the bigger one was roasting pig and running the little pig farm and chicken farm, because we went to golf to the auction yard to bid on pigs and poultry, and we had a little farm in Locke, and all of this has gone today with a barbecue center, and it's a building, and that's all torn down today. It doesn't exist anymore. But the garden in Locke today had building garages, and my grandfather had built those buildings. They're all gone today. I have 7 sisters, starting with the oldest, Lonnie, Annie, Edna, Alice, Margaret, Violet, and Erlene. I was second to the last. I went to City College, I went to Humboldt State, and I majored in marine biology. Came back to Sacramento and went back to graduate school in public health. We have Chinese school in Ileton, Locke, Cortland, and Sacramento, of course. And I believe that the reason why our parents wanted us to go to Chinese school, they were always concerned not being bilingual, especially in Chinese, that we may be sent back to China someday. It was always one of the biggest concerns they had. So they insist that we go to Chinese school. Even we lived in the farm, my father would pick the girls up and send them to Chinese school and go back out to, after the school was out, to take them home. Whenever we had free free time, we either work in the garden or help in the farm. And myself, I remember 10, 12 years old, I had a bucket in my hand. I sit on the levee, wait for a truck to pick me up to go pick tomatoes. So whenever we had a chance to work, we work in the packing shed. And if we had to pick pears, pack pears in the Lumbun farm, we keep busy. And we do a lot of fishing. And I'm noted for a fisherman, because whenever I have a chance, I remember Mom was wanting some fish for dinner. I said, wait, Mom, I'll be out in the river. I'll be back in 10 minutes. I'll have fish. Adult life after through college. And the thing about many of us in the Delta, we never dated before. We never go dancing or anything like this. And when I was in college, I had a little time during break, and I went all the way to Vancouver, Canada. I have uncles up there, and I met that young lady. And my wife is from Vancouver, Canada.
Thank you, Harrison. We appreciate your time together.
Okay.
Thank you again on behalf of the Locke Foundation Oral History Project.
Okay, I'm glad I could be helpful.
And so in that conversation, there was a phrase that she says, you want to come over? And so we've known each other for 66 years. Can you believe it? And so in that time, we've had lots of different projects we've worked on from the time we were little. And so this is our newest one. And she's trying not to cry, I know it, but I can't help myself. So between the two of us, we're a pair. Anyway, I thought that so these are the two pictures that we have, right? So up here. I have a ton more. And so in all of them, she's got different hairstyles. So this is the current her. If you look in the program, it's a whole different her. And then you look here, then she's another her. So it's been very fun, all that we've done, all that we are together. And she grew up with very strong women around her. And she was a strong woman herself in her profession. So you can read about that in the program and go, wow. And so, what? Nothing. So, Corliss Suen Lee, she is the reason why we are here. We are here because it was her vision of the knowledge and bringing light to just acknowledging women and bringing to light their stories and struggles. And so we're producing voices, women of the Delta, whatever. We can't really decide on the name, so it's something like that, but you know what it's about. It's about all of us and the women that were part of who we were and what make us who we are now. So we're collaborating with Min Zhou in a little bit. She is not here because she's running around the United States, not just California, the United States. Just last week it was all of California, from Monterey to Pacific Grove, back to Sacramento, and then back to Salinas, doing interviews and different things, not just for our project, but in Corliss's video, I have taken something of Min's. It was called The Land of Luck. And it was really about Locke, and Corliss is in there. So I slashed and burned and snipped and all that, and so you will get to see some of the sampling of Min's work without taking up too much of your time. And so, okay, we don't know when this is going. See, look how she's just going to walk away. And so this is Min's story, and it's Corliss's story that was the inspiration from Corliss, right? So, all right, here we go.
As I walk the streets today,
smell of sweat of the farmers coming home. Stir fry, deep fry, and boiling soup. Fish, chicken, and vegetables in abundance. Some families had their own gardens in the back of town and shared the fruits of their labor. Fishermen shared the abundance catch of the day. I would come home from school to find a bag of fish in the inside of the screen door, and I can hear some sing-song voices in conversation, of clanging cooking utensils, of gambling. I could hear constant noises that in its complexity became a hymn of life. My grandparents came over in the 1910s, and they had 12 kids. They came over from Cortland on a farm and moved into Locke and started a fish store. Everybody always had food to eat. They went fishing, they grew the gardens in the backyard, and it was just really a good place to be. The Delta and the farmlands here was one of the richest farmlands in the world. We grew so much stuff that we were better than most of them in the world of supplying food for people. My mother was born in 1913. That's my mom. She was the second oldest of 12 children. And when they moved here, of course, it was hard to feed all 12 kids. But the town was wonderful because they grew gardens in the back. My grandmother had gardens in the back. My grandfather had died early. After having 12 kids, he passed away. And so the town helped feed everybody.
Corliss's family was on the next house.
My mother was probably 3 or 4 years old. It was when the town was very new, and they opened a fish market. It's a concrete block, and they keep the fish in there with ice. I remember my grandmother, and I had asked her, I said, do you ever feel like you're discriminated against, like people treat you badly? And she says, never. Because the town gave her that sense of security and safety. My father is fearless and confident as he lived a lively life. He ran a gambling house.
When the gambling stopped to die, the town actually died.
In the 70s, Chinese man came down to Walnut Grove and opened up the gambling house then. And my dad says, no, oh, you can't open it now. Times have changed.
My grandma took care of this history like a heart for it. My mom drove it right there, so I'm the bills upstairs.
I was actually adopted, and my mother brought me down to Walnut Grove. But because she worked, I spent every day here. Either my grandmother took care of me, or Auntie Chow of Moon Cafe would babysit me 5 days a week. When I was little, I was on that balcony, and I was trying to jump from that balcony over to this balcony, and Auntie Chow got really mad at me and said she'd never babysit me again, and told my mom, and she just said it's too dangerous to try to take care of me, but I was back the next day. When I was 7 years old, I was playing in the streets, and there's this homeless man, and his name was Min Zhou. And I always thought in Chinese that meant smell him and fall over. And we're playing, and he takes a lid and lifts it up off the garbage can. I stared so long at this, I thought, wow, somebody's feeding him. And my aunt covered all the garbage with newspaper. She had a plate of food and then a banana on top. Well, he thought I was hungry, so he'd take the banana and try to give it to me. Of course, I didn't take it, but I learned 2 lessons that day. Number 1, he had nothing, and he could still share. And that makes me remember, you know, how no matter how little you have, you can still share with people. And the other one, no matter how tough life is, you can still help or share with other people. My grandmother had 12 kids, 6 girls and 6 boys. And you don't imagine, but back then during World War II, all the boys joined the service. When got into the Army or the Air Force or something. And so they weren't just sitting here in Locke being farming laborers. They went out and they created a life for themselves.
We came back in 47 and 48, I think we were doing it. We pulled all the trees and planted the whole thing, and then pretty soon the whole thing was garden. And next thing you know, everybody got a part of it, became a garden.
Now, my parents sort of left. They moved from Locke to Walnut Grove, which was right next door to Locke. Today there is little left, save for the remnants of buildings leaning under the pressure of neglect. Today, the Chinese history is preserved through a gambling museum, a Chinese school, and a shrine to the memory of Locke. As the Chinese start their exodus from Locke, whites and other ethnicities infiltrate the town. Time has run out for Once Upon a Chinatown.
So this reminds me, this little drone shot reminds me one more thing I wanted to add about Harry Sen. So just last week, Min asked, and so Min asked, she's the Min Zhou. So Min Zhou asked if Harry and I would go out to Locke, so we drove out to Locke, and he spent all this time with Min and her production team from China to capture more stories. So thanks again, Harry. The next thing we're going to see is, because Min is traveling all over the place and cannot come, she thought she'd just share a few words with you. So I'm going to play that video, and after that, what we've been waiting for is the trailer to the Voices Chinese Women of the Delta documentary.
My first visit to Locke was in the early winter of 2015. Walking on Main Street was like returning to Zhongshan, China in the 19th century. As I passed each old house, I wondered who used to live in those buildings and what stories they left behind. 3 years later, I produced a documentary series titled A Trilogy, The Builders of the Iron Road. In the third episode, Land of Locke, Jin Qian shared his family stories with me, from his great-grandfather, Jin King, who worked in the railroad, to his Uncle Bill, who served as a flying tiger pilot. Corliss also shared her family stories with me. From that moment standing on Locke's Main Street, Corliss and I became friends. So, the women's stories you are watching today started 7 years ago. The documentary Women's Voices will showcase the stories of the Chinese women living in the Sacramento River Delta. They are our grandmothers, mothers, and sisters. They reclaimed the land, cultivated crops, and raised children on this land. During the pear harvest season, they became the hardest working laborers. At home, they were the foundation of the family and the community. When the Chinese men would make a living away from home, those women held those families together, bringing continuity and vitality to this land. However, those women are often overlooked and ignored. Most of the time, they brought discrimination from both outside and inside of the Chinese American community. Their voices have never been recorded. Even their fathers, husbands, or brothers have barely listened carefully to them or paid serious attention to their laughter and tears. I'm deeply grateful for having the opportunity to make a documentary about the forgotten women of the Delta. I want to thank Corliss Lee, Carol Lee, Daisy Ma, Penny Peterson, Connie Chen Robinson, Lily Yang, and Ruth Chen Jang. They allow me into their life stories not only as a filmmaker, but also as a young sister. I would like to thank some of the men who supported behind the production. They are Mark Miller, Douglas Hsia, and Harry Singh. A special thank you goes to Jing Qian, who graciously led me on a tour around Locke 7 years ago. May this documentary inspire more people. May the history of more Chinese people be noticed, acknowledged, and respected.
So just a little bit more about Min Zhou. She is an international award-winning documentary producer and film producer. So here we go. This is what we've been working for, and just a little glimpse. We have a long way to go, and I'm not sure how long it's going to take. We're still gathering some more stuff, innards for the film, and we also need funding. So thank you all, and enjoy.
What I'd like to talk about is the women behind the women. My grandmother's name was Louise Jang. She gave birth to 10 children in 11 years. That means she was pregnant for 10 years straight. Grandma slaved for her family. She took care of everything, cooking and caring for the kids, until my mother was old enough to help her.
The women in China were treated very poorly, and that maybe is tradition. My mother had to go to school with his 2 older brothers, take them to school, sit on the porch, not go into the schoolhouse. When we were growing up, my mother said, I certainly wish I was educated. And Mom was not the only one, of course.
No one around to help me get through my classes. If I struggled, I had to struggle alone. My parents didn't understand algebra or Shakespeare or any of that, so somehow I managed okay.
That's Daisy Ma.
She came here with 3 children, 2 of them below the age of 10, no language. So she left everything to be here and to be away from the family trauma.
The journey my grandmother had was harsh and laden. She wasn't the only woman who experienced life like this in the Delta.
And I remember, and I still to this day, December 7th, when Pearl Harbor was invaded.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
It just seems so far away, and who would know later on that most of the fellows in Locke were drafted or volunteered. And I don't think there's a house in Locke that did not have a gold star.
I don't want to be shipped out of California. I want to stay in California. That didn't happen. Well, basic training was Des Moines, Iowa, and after that I was sent to Moody Field, Georgia. I get to drive a motor scooter to deliver messages. I was lucky. My mother adopted me. I always wondered why she never got pregnant.
Was it by nature or was it by choice? Because if it was my mother who was pregnant all that time, I certainly wouldn't want to be pregnant.
My mother came as a paper daughter. One of the main things I think I learned from her is heart. The Chinese character heart, right in the very middle of the word love. That to me is like it embodied who she was and what she was.
I was given the name Connie, and I think it was, probably before I even knew Connie King. And I certainly hope that in the life that I've been conducting and carrying so far, that I've been able to do a little bit of that.
It's like supposedly the second building built here in town, and there is a stairway going down, and the family lived down below. It wasn't exactly a basement, but certainly down below here. And my family is the third generation here. And the people here were very, very hardworking. Many people worked from dawn to dusk, 30 cents a day, $1 a day if you're lucky. But everything was always tidy. It wasn't fancy. A lot of buildings had no paint, but it was always neat and tidy. I've never seen so much trash in front doors and alleyways, and up on the boardwalk there, I can't even walk through it. There's so much stuff. This is really bad. Somebody should clean up this town.
The women of the Delta lived a life of hardship, determination, and triumph. They won over the difficulties.
Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for supporting all this and for being here to make this a success. I think it's time to pass this on to our MC Jim again. Thank you.
Let's give it up for Carol Lee and of course the team behind it. I think would you agree those were some really powerful stories, everyone? Would you agree? Let's give it up for all the people we've seen in the videos there. And we have some incredible sponsors here, but I want to focus again. I started with this, pointing to their Locke Foundation, the legacy lives on. Legacy can be defined in some different ways, but legacy is the impact that people will remember, and that's what they want to create here with this. But we want to thank and acknowledge some of the sponsors. The diamond sponsor, the Walnut Grove Rotary Club. Let's give them a round of applause. And then we have also the gold sponsors. We'd have them stand up as I now name Honey Lum, also Madeline Postman, and then also Mark Miller and Carol Lee, who's just here as well. All right, let's give them all a round of applause. Those are our gold sponsors. And of course, we have a lot of friends and family here, so we'd like to acknowledge these people as well. What we're going to do is, let me read through them, and we're going to give them a big round of applause at the end. First off, we have Apapa, and then we have the Chinese American Heritage Network, the Patty Fong Currents Newsletter, the Locke Management Corporation, the Sacramento Chinese of Indochina Friendship Association. It's okay to clap a little bit as we're going here through it. Sacramento River Delta Historical Society, the U.S.-China Railroad Friendship Association, the Carmelia Lions Club. We also have General Produce. We have Ed Liu, Mary Yin Liu. We have Jerry Wong, John Fong, Laverne Sin Ishibashi, Corliss Soon Lee. Let's give her a round of applause. We see her there. the catalyst here. Van Mar, Doug Oyang. Also, we have Helen Suen. We also have Stephen Sum Jr., Stuart Walthall. We have Sandy Jang, Andrew Lee, Brandon Young, Andy Wong. So let's go ahead and give them all a big round of applause here. And I want to go ahead and introduce Honey Lum, that will be coming up to introduce the next person. Okay, and also Honey, real quick. Honey will be announcing the other thing here. Okay, and then also we forgot to mention who?
We would like to also again acknowledge and thank the co-producers. These are producers who really have an investment in the town of Locke. Clarence Chu's family, thank you Clarence. The Locke Foundation, Locke Prada, Douglas Shaw, thank you, co-producers. You're going to be in the film credit. Okay, so I'd like to also acknowledge the community organizations that are here today, and I want to thank all of you for supporting the Oral History Project. APAPA, Sacramento Camellia Lions Club, Vicki Beaton. Is Vicki here? She's the president. Golden Harvest Parade and Festival, CEO President Wei Jang.
Right there.
She's also the president with the U.S.-China Railroad Association. Give her a big hand. And next year is 155-year anniversary of the Transcontinental Railroad. So there are going to be big conferences in Sacramento and also Salt Lake City honoring the Chinese rail builders. So look forward to that. Ileton development of the Asian American Heritage Park, Gina Kobe. Thank you for doing that. Sacramento Indochina Friendship Association, President Linda Liu, thank you for your temple and also providing bilingual education to students in your neighborhood. Over 300 students now. This is before COVID too. Extraordinary leadership. And also to the president of the Friendship Association. And thank you also for serving vegetarian meals on Lunar New Year's, and also the 1st and the 15th of every month for the vegetarian Buddhist practitioners. Stockton Chinese Benevolent Association, Vice Chair Judy Hong. The Sacramento River Delta Society, Mary Ellen Burns. I didn't see her here. Revitalization of the Sacramento Chinatown, Chef David Suhu. Thank you for all you do. And on the table, we were enriched with cuties, and these are Mandarin cuties donated generously by the General Produce Company. Acknowledging Marcia Chan and Vicki Chan, please stand up. General Produce. General Produce Company is over 80 years old. They were one of the pioneers in providing produce to the Sacramento area and probably supplying produce to restaurants and business establishments where probably services were not patronized by because of the discrimination practices. So I just want to acknowledge General Produce. In 2018, the Chinese American Council of Sacramento honored the Chan family, General Produce Company, in the Hall of Fame. In the recognition designed by the late Frank Fatt to honor the highest achievement in an organization that demonstrates professionalism and excellent customer service. The family secret to success, as I quote, hard work, be dedicated and persevere, surround yourself with good, loyal people, and always leave something on the table for other people. Thank you, General Produce. And I also want to acknowledge if General Produce come up here to receive a certificate from the Golden Harvest Parade and Festival for being a sponsor last week, Golden Harvest Parade. Somebody from the Chan family would come up to receive the certificate. Vicky, Marcia, Vicky, would you come up and receive the certificate for General Produce? Okay, this certificate is going to be given by Wei Jang, president of the Golden Harvest Parade and Festival. We had a huge celebration in front of the state capitol. Oh, this is for you. This is for you. Come on up on stage. Take a picture.
Thank you. Got my cousin to me. Yeah. Oh, honey, do you want me to bring up? Oh, Marcia, come on up here. Oh, Marcia. Oh, hi, baby.
Marcia is part of the family. The owners. Okay. Come on, Marcia. Here, Marcia, leave Suen in the center. Here,
Turn off the lights. Oh, yeah. Wait, Jimmy, let's turn off the
blocking it. Can you block it?
No, I got it. Oh, okay, here we go. Hold it. Look here on 3. 1, 2. Okay, thank you.
Thank you to Vicky Chan, Marcia Chan. And our thoughts go out with Marcia to their family.
Okay, and so this has been such a great day here, but what we want to do is we want to thank, all the people in the Locke Foundation, Oral History Project Committees, Corliss, Lee, we've heard that name a lot here tonight, Honey Lum, Carol Lee, Mark Miller, and the other event volunteers, which were Suen Rothall, Eileen Leung, Kathy Wei, Patty Fong, Eva Chu, Lucy Obach, Douglas Shaw, myself, Eugene Wong, Eugene Louie, Margie Wong, Pearl Lim, Sue Lim, Betty Louie, Maru Sun, Wenlin Yi, Ruben Sanchez, and the Capitol Chinese Orchestra for sharing the beautiful Chinese cultural music. So let's give them a round of applause. And this has been a really great day filled with a lot of great food and a lot of history, but we also, again, just want to mention again just the acknowledgement of the people that appeared here today, the former Sacramento County Supervisor, Don Natoli, and we just want to mention he also helped basically find funds for the Locke boardwalk. Those are some of the boards between the buildings, the walkways, that basically they didn't have any quote-unquote obligation to really repair, but Don Natoli went out of his way to find the public easement that enabled us to get funding for the walkways. So thank you, Don Natoli. We also want to thank former Sacramento County Assessor Roger Fong. Let's give him a round of applause. And also the City of Elk Grove Council member Darren Suen, who's also community representative. Let's give him a round of applause. Stand up, Darren, so we can see you there. He's a little bit taller than the average age. No, I know him, so I can say that. All right.
Also didn't want to remiss our own Locke Foundation board member, Darryl Wu, former City of Sacramento School Board. Thank you, Darryl, for all your service to our board and to the community.
Okay, and let's see. And Darryl, I guess you're also a community representative of California State Assembly member Stephanie Wynn. Is that correct? All right, very, very good, very good. Let's give Darren one more round of applause. Okay, you owe me lunch. Okay, but all right, so, we're going to be ending out this soon, but we're looking at some different things here. But I hope this helps you really reflect on the things that are really most important as well. And so, there's some comments here also. There's a calendar, the beautiful calendar that you can purchase for $20 from Locke. So where are those purchased, honey? The calendars? Are they in the back? And basically, we're looking at some final thoughts here as well. And so also, we have a drawing for door prizes, all right? And so we have also a drawing for new Locke Foundation membership, so you can join as well. This took a lot to plan, guys. This is time really worthwhile to be out here. And so we're going to take a drawing here. These are the new Locke Foundation members for membership. And so why don't you announce what we're giving away here?
Okay, Mark, we have the books from Eileen. Eileen is back there. Eileen, could you bring the prizes up, please? You and Mark Miller. Okay, while we are doing that, while we're waiting,
You want to have closing remarks?
we want to, again, thank everyone on behalf of the Locke Foundation. Thank you for being here as a special guest to support women's voices. Stuart, would you come up to the stage?
Thank you all again. Please come to Locke. Bring your family and friends. Come to the museum. Walk the picturesque streets. See the different museums in town. Go to the back of town. See the gardens. Get to know Locke. And I want to thank you all again. This was a wonderful event. Good job, honey. Thank you, Jim, for being our MC as always. We have our Chinese New Year Festival celebration on February 24th in Locke. Try to make it down, it's fun. And then our Locke Asian Pacific Spring Festival is always the second weekend, the second Saturday in May. So thanks again.
Okay, we have a raffle. Jim, do the honors.
All right, so there's two raffles, right?
Yes.
Okay, I got two raffles here. Okay, I got two. Okay. Okay, so you should have a ticket there as well. So, let's see, the first one is 387-1330. 1330.
How about the last couple digits, Sony?
1330. We have a couple of the Bitter Melon books that we're giving away. 1330. Do we have a winner there? No, not quite. Okay. Okay, we're going to go to the next one here. The next one is 1335. 1335. 1335. No? Wait, there we go.
Here's the winner.
And so this book was written...
1335?
There we go. 1335. 1330 is just as good. You got that? There's girl. Long there. All right. 1335.
Okay.
Right there. All right. Let's give them a round of applause. And this book was written by two of the authors that are no longer with us, but they're in a better place. But Mark, real quick, can you tell people just very briefly about the book that we just gave out? It really is historic. Mark?
Bitter Melon is probably currently the best book that you can read about the experience. Currently, it's probably the best book available now to read about the Chinese experience in the Delta in the town of Locke. And because of that, we invite more people to research and inquire and write more books. We need more books to give away to people. But right now, Bitter Melon, if you haven't read it, it's available at the Locke Boarding House. and we have plenty of copies to sell everybody. So please read it, become educated, and join us in trying to preserve and perpetuate the history of the Chinese experience in the Delta. Thank you.
I like to close. Eva, this is really appropriate. I was looking at this bag, and do you know what the bottom of it says? This is from Hong Kong. So she just come back from Hong Kong for a 3-month visit. This bag is so appropriate today. I hope it touched everybody's heart. Connection between people determine life. Does that make sense? If we think about what we're doing today, connection between people determine life. So be kind, be gentle. There's a purpose in what we do, and have a safe journey home. Thank you so much on behalf of Locke Foundation.
Thank you all for coming.
Okay, on behalf of Locke Foundation, we want to thank you all for coming, and we're really excited about this project. Hopefully you are able to contribute to this worthwhile cause. There's a Chinese statement that is really key. Oh, hold on one second. Before I close this out, Carol wants to say something really fast.
Really fast. Thank you also from the Oral History Project and the Locke Prior Residents and Descendants Association that co-hosted and sponsored this event. Thank you.
Awesome. And there is a Chinese statement that my dad passed away a couple years ago, and it says "Yang Sui Xin." It just means when you drink the water from the well, remember who spent the time to dig that well. And this is what this is all about. The people that really are paving the way for history. Everyone, have a great evening. I'm going to say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's all have a big cheer at the end for the Locke Foundation and for this project. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.